Today we have 4 stories that are going to make your blood absolutely boil. First up, a guy who's so done with his chronically late influencer wife that he lets her miss her favorite artist on her own birthday. Then, the gym saga everyone's been waiting on, where a woman who would not take no for an answer rips the safety tab right off a moving treadmill. After that, a girlfriend grabs a rifle and points it dead in her boyfriend's face, then somehow gets mad at him. And finally, a husband who caught his wife cheating and pulled off the most iconic revenge on her affair partner you have ever heard. Trust me, you are not ready for that last one. Let's get into it. This guy is so fed up with his wife always being late for everything that he finally stops covering for her and lets her miss her favorite artist on her own birthday. My wife, 32 female, and I, 31 male, have been together for 5 years. I'm fed up with my wife's chronic lateness to many things. It's really annoying and grates on my nerves. To her, it seems like no big deal because I always manage to rush her by telling her the time of an event 45 minutes earlier. She's never noticed earlier because she's too caught up with herself, constantly taking photos. That's the reason she's always late. She has a decent following on Instagram and is looking to grow as a content creator. I find it really silly how she turns everything we do into a photo session, and at this point, I've stopped agreeing to take her photos altogether. We've had several conversations about this. I've told her that it's mentally exhausting for me to always have to stay on top of making sure we both get ready according to plan. But she never really does anything to address it. This time, I wanted her to experience the consequences of her actions. This month alone, we've been embarrassingly late to events 2 times, and this time was the first she realized I hadn't been honest about the timing because I used to give her an ETA 40 minutes earlier. A week ago, I told her I wouldn't be doing that anymore and that I expected her to act like an adult and be more responsible. It was her birthday this weekend, and I got her tickets to an event featuring several performers, including her favorite artists in the first act. This time, as I'd already told her before, I didn't give her the extra 40-minute buffer. I expected her to remember our conversation and store that information in her head to plan accordingly. Instead, she did her whole influencer routine, decorating our room, setting up studio lights, dressing up, and taking photos. The whole time, I knew she was missing out on her favorite artist because she didn't take me seriously. It was so ironic that I didn't even feel like reminding her. I'm done with the mental burden of always rushing and planning. We arrived, and she realized what had happened. She got upset and started crying, asking how I could do this to her on her birthday. She said it seemed like I was liking the rise it got from her and asked why I couldn't set my ego aside for one day. I told her this was on her. I'd already made it clear I wasn't going to rush anymore, and she should have listened the first time and expected me to follow through, unlike her. She said the whole point of the event was to see the performances of those artists who we just missed. She was incredibly upset and kept crying off and on during the event. The ride home was awkward. I was in the downstairs restroom when she texted me saying I wasn't welcome in the bedroom that night. I ignored her message and went in while she was changing. She looked like she wanted to kill me, and I simply told her that her saying I'm not welcome was irrelevant because it's my room too. If she's uncomfortable, she could take the couch. She ended up leaving to visit her mom, and I'm considering whether I was an asshole. Let's see what the comments have to say. This person commented, "But how did it get as far as 5 years married? I wouldn't go past the 3rd date for someone who didn't value my time as well as anyone else's." Another commenter said, "This would infuriate me, and I wouldn't have put up with it as long as he did. She's an adult. She can figure it out if it's important to her." Honestly, the comments are pretty much on his side here. Most folks are stunned he put up with it for 5 whole years. But maybe you think he went too far springing it on her birthday. What's your verdict? So what do you guys think? Was this person the asshole? Drop your verdict in the comments below. Remember the gym stalker saga everyone was talking about? Well, buckle up because Andrea is back, and this time she takes things to a whole new level of unhinged. Summary of previous post. Skip this paragraph if you read that post. A woman at my gym, Andrea, fake name, asked me out after some normal not at all romantic interactions. I turned her down, and shortly after I stated getting a weird vibe from her and started avoiding her. She confronted me about avoiding her twice, and the second time I said she was embarrassing herself, after which she put her foot on the weight stack of the machine I was using, causing me to let go of the bar really quickly and slam the weights. I initially thought I was the asshole for my rude comment, and most posters said I actually underreacted and should talk to gym management, which I did, after which Andrea confronted me again and asked me out again. I turned her down. We argued briefly, and she said I needed to grow up. Actual update. Andrea is banned from the gym. I was running on the treadmill and watching TV. She came up to talk to me, and I ignored her, staring at the TV. She raised her voice, and I continued to ignore her. She reached out and pulled the safety tab out of the treadmill, the one you connect to your wrist so the treadmill stops if you fall, causing the treadmill to come to a sudden stop. I tripped and fell onto the controls and TV, scratching my chin on the top of the screen. I went to the front desk with Andrea following me. I told them what she did. She kept trying to interrupt me and talk over me, but the woman at the front desk told her to be quiet and wait her turn. I told her Andrea pulled out the safety tab while I was running and injured me. The woman at the front desk then asked Andrea what happened. Andrea said I was staring into the middle distance like I was in some kind of phage state, and she thought I was having a medical episode, so she pulled the tab. The woman at the front desk asked for a membership card. Andrea didn't want to give it to her, but the woman at the front desk said if she didn't, she would ban her. Andrea gave her the card, and the woman at the front desk said to leave, and she was suspended for a month. Andrea objected and got into an argument with a woman at the front desk that escalated into Andrea calling the woman an N-word B-word. So she was banned permanently. I hesitate to call that a happy ending because the poor gym employee had to put up with racial harassment, but I won't deny getting to watch her cut up Andrea's membership card felt good. Let's see what the comments have to say. This person commented, "She sounds unhinged, and now she's a scorned and angry woman. Yikes." Another commenter said, "Please be wary in case she follows you home. Watch that she doesn't just turn up in places you frequent." The comments are firmly in his corner on this one, though most of them are way more worried about whatever Andrea does next. Do you think he handled it right? Let me know. If you're enjoying these stories so far, remember to leave a like and subscribe for more. Picture it. A guy's girlfriend gets handed a rifle, and the very first thing she does is point it straight at his face. We were visiting a good friend of mine when he moved out of state. He brought me to his bedroom closet to show me an AR-15 and handgun he purchased after moving. I handled both guns after checking they were unloaded, and I knew they were safe. My girlfriend walks into the room, and he hands the AR-15 to her. She does not check it to affirm it is indeed clear, and the first thing she does is point it directly in my face. I slapped the barrel down and said, "What the freak are you doing?" in an aggressive tone. She then handed my friend his rifle back and stormed out of the room. She didn't like the fact I aggressively chastised her for ignoring basic gun safety. She told me, "You didn't have to talk to me like I'm stupid," and didn't understand my point wasn't to make her feel stupid, but that action is dangerous, especially since she was not in the room to witness it being checked for live ammunition, and she did not check the gun herself. Am I wrong for aggressively chastising her, or should I have been nicer? Let's see what the comments have to say. This person commented, "Is she dumb? It's like the first step of gun safety. Never point the gun at anyone. Like, she didn't know what could happen. Anything could have." Another commenter said, "What she did was incredibly dangerous and irresponsible. Even in airsoft, places you'll get kicked out and maybe banned from the premises if you point a gun at someone's unprotected face." Yeah, the comments are basically unanimous. Pointing a gun at someone's face breaks rule number 1, and they're fully behind his reaction. But was he too harsh about it? You tell me. So what do you guys think? Was this person the asshole? Drop your verdict in the comments below. This husband walked in on his wife's affair, and instead of completely losing it, he cooked up a revenge so petty and so perfect it ended up blowing up the other guy's entire marriage. I, 32, have been married to my soon-to-be ex-wife, 30, Madison, for 4 years. We're currently in counseling, but it is not going to work. About a year ago, I found out she was having an affair by coming home to their clothes in our living room and sound coming from our bedroom. I lost it. I was getting my cricket bat out of the front closet when I stopped to think about consequences. I did not want to go to jail. Instead, I took all their clothes and left quietly. I went to a friend's house, but not before throwing all the clothes in a McDonald's garbage can. I turned off my phone and got shit-faced with my buddy. His wife hosed us off in the morning. After I turned my phone back on, I had dozens of calls and texts from Madison. First scared because she got my updated flight information. Then upset that I hadn't called her to let her know I was going to be coming home early. Then freaked out that the house had been broken into. Then crazy because she figured out it was me. They just got more deranged. The guy she was with is 5 inches shorter than me and about 60 pounds lighter. So if he had taken my clothes, it would be obvious. He ended up calling his friend to go get his spare keys from his house. Unfortunately for him, his wife smelled a rat and followed his friend back to my house, where she saw him leaving in oversized clothes. Long story short, she took pictures and she had evidence of his infidelity, which caused their prenup to be canceled, which cost him a lot of money. It is all one big giant crap show. It took a couple of months, but my wife convinced me to try and forgive her. We started going to counseling, and we were working our way through it. Until recently. In a counseling session, she said that I was wrong to steal his wallet, phone, and car keys. She said that his divorce is costing him a lot of money and that I should have dealt with it in a more mature manner and that it was my fault. I have never admitted to taking his stuff. To begin with, I was afraid he might call the cops. Then I didn't want to give her ammunition in case she wanted a divorce. Now I just don't care. I told her that her cheating was the reason her boyfriend is getting divorced and that I hope his ex takes everything. I'm still not living at home. I have my own apartment and I'm filing for divorce. Now that I know how she feels, it is kind of a slap in the face that she's blaming me for his divorce. Let's see what the comments have to say. This person commented, "The way she immediately followed through and followed him without even having a doubt makes me wonder if infidelity hasn't been an issue before." Another commenter said, defending the affair partner during their marriage counseling session, "If it's not the lion, the witch, and the audacity of this harpy." The comments are absolutely loving this one. They're calling it a masterclass, and they cannot believe his wife had the nerve to defend the other guy right there in counseling. But where do you land on it? What would you have done in this situation? Let me know in the comments. So there you have it, 4 stories for absolute messes, and 4 people asking if they're the bad guy. Drop your verdicts down in the comments, because I read every single one, and I want to know which story made you the angriest. Think any of them actually deserve what they got? Say so below. I've got even wilder stories lined up for next time, so I'll see you in the next one.